All right, this is Mediahu, and this is the final part of the series on the Texas prophecy of calamity and doom. In the first part, the Holy Spirit gave me the wisdom and knowledge to show you about Austin Q2 Dragon Soccer Stadium and how that is a picture of the dragon, which goes along with Revelation 12. I showed you all around the stadium, and there was even a game going on, a match going on, even showing the green smoke and everything they were doing to emulate the dragon. And I showed you all the symbologies that were around that stadium. Go please watch this here on BitChute and on other outlets. And then also showing the Texas prophecy concerning the UT Austin Bell Tower of Doom. And again, I showed you dragon symbology and a World War I memorial that still stands there today at the South Mall of the UT Tower area, and many other things you could see from that about how dragon symbology, Molech, all the other things about pagan symbology, including the theme of Atlantis, Athena, all these things are really what the state of Texas is all about. It's not some good moral state where nobody ever practiced sodomy, nobody ever ran drugs, nobody ever just flat out murdered, because Freemasonry has existed all the way back to ancient Egypt, but it has remorphed itself over and over again to become what it is called today, Freemasonry. And there are many other things I'd like to mention about that, but let me go diving into the third part of the Texas prophecy. First of all, you're going to see an owl planted downtown, an image of Molech, a statue of Molech, and you're also going to see the Frost Tower emulating the same theme of Molech and the owl and many other things that I just can't exhaust. There's so much to this pagan idolatry of the state of Texas. You can go in your state and find similar things. Now, this is the Sunday before Labor Day 2022. We are on the day of September the 4th, 2022. A lot of this prophecy in Texas occurred last August 2021, so don't be deceived by the timelines. I have been waiting to get this out. Now, aside from that, you're going to see how downtown Austin infrastructure and buildings are quite compromised. You're going to see how buildings are crooked, and they're either going to be demolished 9/11 style in a controlled demolition, or calamities going to occur. And I'm also going to show you, in light of the recent Dallas major flooding that did occur, even if you're in the state of a drought, flooding is still very possible, weather-wise and in many other ways. So do not discount flooding after I show you the capital of Texas prophecy. The third part of this is going to be the Texas Capitol itself and how it has thrived on blood, war, skull and bones, everything. And I also did not mention this in the video, but virtually every Texas governor, from Maribel B. Lamar to now, has had to be skull and bones, Rosicrucian death. I will prove that all to you in the monuments I show you, just like I did this afterward. Subsequently, I did this later in the year of 2021 in December. Now, this all dates back to August. Let me remind you that. But In Maryland, I did this in December too, and the Antietam Memorial Park, and that's going to go up pretty soon too. And so you're going to see why the state of Texas, more particularly Austin and other areas, are going to be judged according to the multitude of their idols, according to Ezekiel 14. And you can read that and many other Old Testament prophecies that have not yet been fulfilled. You'd be shocked to hear that most of the book of Isaiah has not been hardly fulfilled yet. I'd say about 30% of the book of Isaiah has been fulfilled, and we know the messianic prophecies have been because Jesus, the Messiah, did come, Yahushua. But buckle tight and watch the last part of the Texas prophecy, first introducing the Molech statue downtown and the Frost Tower, downtown Austin, Texas. Then the potential scenario for flooding when tsunamis come or when some other water-based calamity or earthquake from the Balcones Fault or any other faults. Third part, the Texas Capitol itself, showing you the history of Texas, what it's really all about, and why it has never been a Christian state, just like the United States has never been a Christian nation. Please continue to watch, and thank you very much. Please leave your comments below, and also I can be contacted for anything you want, and that's going to be on the channel, on the About section, or in other areas of the video description. Shalom, and be in prayer, because calamity is coming very soon. Not only to Texas, not only to the United States, but more worldwide calamity and disaster will fulfill biblical prophecy. Continue to watch, and thank you. Okay, this is August the 7th, Saturday, at about 7 o'clock p.m., Austin, Texas. Here is an example how the multitude of your idols will be your judge. You will be judged according to the multitude of your idols. This owl is very much akin to the Frost Bank Tower down that way. There's another one, Molech. You know it. This is what the star, so-called Star of David, is based on. Star of Remphan, Star of Chin. You can look at the different features. This is also like, we already went down Balcones Road with the Baptist Church. That's Falcones. Falcone. Okay, Falcone. All right? And you got Fauci, who is a Falcone, a falso. All right? Also, during this crisis, they have created the Frost Bank Tower building down there that way. You already saw it. I've already filmed it. And I may film it again just for tonight, but this is based on, again, Fantasia by the Freemasons, inserted into the church. This is also going to be symbolic of maybe something like the phoenix. The falcon is the phoenix, and Molech and all that, all in one. But that's just part of that, is kind of my own symposium on it, but we may go to the Frost Tower Bank building and check out that and compare it with this, and you tell me I'm wrong. Okay, on the owl, you saw those owls. Take a look and compare it to this. This is very much like a Molech owl. This is the best angle we're going to get on it, looking at it from the 200 block of Lavaca, a street that's only one way north. I want you to look at this and notice the features that it's like an owl. I'm not going to get too detailed, but this is also a tower commemorating the false god idol Molech.
As well as Anubius.
Anubius, all that. Anything else on that? But what I notice on the very top, in between the two split horns, there are crossbars there too, about to the left, and the design of it is clearly, you see it. And we're just going to cut this off to let you know that those owls we saw over there are like this owl Molech building, and I'm going to give you the best view of it I possibly can. And we're going to continue on with the prophecy. Now, I said we were going to stop after the UT Tower, but we came over here to look at Molech instead the next day. Then we're going to go to the state capitol. And things just keep on adding to it, but don't lose heart. There is a point to all this. According to Ezekiel 14, that you will be judged by the multitude of your idols. Alright, met at Yahoo Kanan. Join Yamin Yitzhak Abarita. Right there, I'm trying to make sure I get a good look at it. This is under the Congress Bridge, Austin, Texas. And now, bats are going to be under here too, but this is a very severe thunderstorm, and people who are camping out that way, if you don't have a tent, you're going to be in big trouble. But I'm going to show you something here. This is why Colorado River is going to be so heavily flooded when the Edwards Aquifer bursts. Because I'm trying to see if you can see this. The waters, if you can even see it, are still below that line, that little rim at the base of the pillars that holds up the bridge. Now, number one, look out here, way out there. Wow. The waters have risen already about 2 or 3 feet in about a half an hour of this rain. This is no joke. And this is just in a, normal heavy thunderstorm. But what's going to happen when the Edwards Aquifer from that direction right there, from that direction, will burst? The waters will come flowing in from the northwest. This is a northwest and southeast river. And you're going to see this bridge is going to be flooded under in an event like that. And should we see anything like that happen tonight, I can guarantee you we're going to gravitate up the hill. But it's very possible any kind of a rain like this could even flood this trail out. Again, this is another preview of your judgment, Texas 9/11. Not this thunderstorm probably, but when the Edwards Aquifer bursts and the Balcones Fault quakes and shakes, Austin, Texas is in very big trouble in that direction, more so right there, all the way out to the Gulf of Mexico. Shalom, shalom. I reign in peace. Again, Texas, get ready for your 9/11. I know the geography of the state. I understand how this is going to work as a former scientist of sorts. Signing out. And just a quick another observation about the flows coming out of this tunnel under the bridge at Congress Avenue and all subsequent bridges in the area. And that is that the waters are flowing south. These waters are going to backfill from the north to the south. There is going to be definite backfill here. There's going to be no doubt about it. This is what's going to cause the flood to converge with what happens at the Gulf come that time of martial law or come that time of a calamity or something. Now this is from the north. I'm facing the north, but the backfill is coming towards me. And I don't know if you can see this, but I'm trying to make light come over here. You either can or you can't see the backfill. But the backfill shows me that my theory is becoming an actual fact. That's the south. Again, this is the south. And that's the southeast, towards Houston and all that. That over there is towards the Balcones Fault, way down there. The backfill, this is facing directly north. This backfill is bringing the water in that direction right there. That's why you're going to see worse happen. The water will backfill towards the south, and then the waters converge from the Gulf to flow back north. And the north part of the north of this bridge will be inundated 20 to 30 feet deep, easy. Water is a very powerful force that Yahuwah created. And you're going to find out and you look up there, right there it's about, I'd say about 40 feet high, 50 feet. This can easily get filled real quick. Come a burst of the Edwards Aquifer when the Balcones Fault does shake and quake. Probably due to fracking. Anyway, this is a theory that could very well come true. I hope it doesn't, but my observational skills as a Benjamite do suggest this to be a great possibility. Okay, signing out once again until I come up with an observation. Met Yahoo, Yehukanan, Doin Yamin, Yit Shuk, Abba Rivka, Abbot Reeve. Now, in the history of Texas, before this place was named after Stephen F. Austin, there were Cherokee all up and down this Colorado River here in Austin, Texas. Then Myra B. Lamar commissioned Houston, Burnett, and many others to execute a mass slaughter of the Cherokee, to have them removed from all along this waterfront here. Right now, the Cherokee have always, in the past, were tent dwellers. They were the Moors that the Jesuit oath swore to destroy. I haven't been able to do it yet, and never will, really. I'm one of those Moors, Black Irish Cherokee, the Moors. But, and to people like Juan Sanchez and Southern Baptist pastors and Catholic priests, there is no remorse. I don't know a Cherokee who is a Catholic priest or who would be one, but there is going to be judgment right along here. I marked out the geography and the path of it. I'm exactly right down there across the other side of the river. The altitude is lower. Down across the river is bound to be anywhere from 20 to 30 to 50 feet underwater minimum, all the way out to the Gulf. San Antonio may very well be underwater, but there will be hilly parts. A lot of San Marcos will be spared, especially the university there, Texas State University. That'll be up on a hill. That'll be very well spared. Much of San Marcos will be spared from a lot of the damage that's going to come when this massive flood and earthquake hits right here. Then down there is I-35, straight up the corridor, north to my left. You'll see a lot of flooding up along that. I do believe that the geography of this Colorado River, the Edwards Aquifer, and the Balcones Fault all suggest it, and the fracking and all the other things. So anyway, shalom, shalom. I ran a piece here from Austin, Texas. Soon to be judged. Very soon. Be careful, don't hit me. Guy coming down here going to hit me, see? But that's how your judgment's going to come, Austin, Texas. Like a thief in the night, and you're not going to expect it. This is a fair warning to you now that these things may not happen to you. Again, all up and down. This is party town, sodomy, sodomistic, wicked. Southern Baptist pastors are wicked. They're in on this. They're wicked. Presbyterian pastors are wicked. Methodist pastors in this town are wicked. There ain't a one found you're going to find left that are righteous. Hallelujah to the glory of the Lamb slain before the foundation of the world. Okay, a new piece of information this morning of August the 5th, 2021. And that new piece of information is what Brother Daniel noticed, and I didn't notice it. Look at these buildings. They are shifting. This ground is shifting. These buildings are not straight. They are crooked. They're going to fall. This is a real danger. This is a health hazard to anybody who might be in an office in any of these. This is a grave health danger. Look at that. They look like they're already going to demolish it. So that's a sign of shifting ground south of the Colorado River in regards to the Austin calamity that will happen here. Look at it close, and I'll give you a further away view gradually how uneven these buildings are, how uneven they are, how they are at shifting sand, not on the solid rock of Christ of Nazareth, Yahusha. There's a close-up look. And if you look to the back, to that blue building to the far right, back in the background, you're going to see that they've already looked like they're going to level it. No good building, right? This is part of the prophecy of why this is all going to go down in a flood. Up to 50 feet and maybe even beyond in certain parts south of the Colorado River towards the Gulf Coast. San Antonio will probably be almost completely submerged by water, except in the, in the higher areas and the San Antonio Heights areas and all that. Then down that way, you're going to get easily 100 feet in Houston. I would say it's going to be the theme of Atlantis, Ezekiel chapter 14. You're going to be judged by the multitude of your idols. And the compilation of these idols is the theme of Atlantis, the flood, underground water cities that they believe they're going to make for themselves, to live under, to be in some kind of underworld. But the real hell they find themselves in, the elite, are going to be torment and suffering pain forever, and gnashing of teeth and gnawing and begging for water for their tongue, and they're not going to have it. But anyway, please continue to listen on towards the capital of Texas prophecy. Okay, I've got to do yet another addendum because I examined this further. That building in the middle of your screen also is leaning backwards. Brother Daniel brought that up too. And the parking garage next to it is leaning. Yeah, well, the Hyatt to Brother Daniel, he believes that's leaning forward into the river. That's the indication of a landslide waiting to happen. Now, I've already talked about landslides that could happen, and I'm not going to reveal where we're at. But landslides on where I'm standing also are very possible, way up into the downtown buildings, and I'm only going to show upwards. The landslides could happen way up to these buildings. Easily. Again, Kota karting. I don't know what that means, but the Tower Hotel, that's the Embassy Suites down here on Riverside, or close to Riverside Drive, and that's Congress Avenue right there, Congress Avenue Bridge. And so there is another addendum. These buildings are crooked too. This is in regard to shifting sand, shifting ground. Again, please excuse my addendums, but that was a very important observation to make. And I'm even going to go look down here and show you more of the landscape. All these buildings are probably crooked too, way down here. All along here, it's going to go underwater, and all these buildings are going to be collapsed. This may be another 9/11 style controlled demolition. You know, this kind of stuff kind of resembles the Leaning Tower of Pisa, if you just take a look at it a little bit closer. This is much like Pisa. Now, as added bonus coverage, I'm going to show you how I am at vertical. You see how it slightly goes from the Bullock Theater, the IMAX Theater here? It kind of dips down. As I bring the camera across, you're going to see the dip. Then you're going to see that these buildings do not appear to be level. The two buildings back behind this building right here, these two buildings are out of whack. I can tell by looking that they might be designed to be this way, but I'll tell you what, those ones by Town Lake are definitely going to collapse. They're putting cranes to this one here too. And I'm telling you, this just does not look level. It really looks like it's kind of leaning more up. These buildings are prone to go flap downwards like that. And right there you could see the Capitol. You cannot walk at Congress. They're doing construction here unless I can find a way to get over there under that way, and I'll try to do that. And I'm going to tell you what, these buildings do not look level. I think this glass one looks better, but you be the judge. Town Lake, definitely, they're going to fall. The real bonus coverage is on Congress 1800 block, which I believe is they're reconstructing everything here, and I believe this is going to be a rail station. or something's going to happen here because they built a concrete foundation here. This means that these two booths here look like a coming railroad station. I don't know what this is about yet, but look at all this here. Or it could be a bus route, although I'm doubting that very seriously, the way they've got the concrete built down. The concrete built down here at the surface where you would call it a street looks like a rail station. All the tubes and pipes and everything suggest it too. And all the things that are going on down there way at the end suggest that to me too. And this is in front of the Bullock IMAX Theater. This is at the state capitol. The very first thing I'm going to show you is this is a Veterans War Memorial, World War I. It says the Department of Texas, God, Country, and Peace. I'm kind of wondering what kind of God, whether or not that was for Lucifer, but you're going to see the rosy thing here. This is going to be the Rosicrucian symbol, the pentagram, satanic, wicked, evil, devilish. Now, I'm facing towards the north here at the Capitol, and I'm trying to get a better view of this. This is looking from the north, you look on the top and that's ISIS. To them, that's icing on the cake. Go back to the memory of veterans of World War I. We understand that Albert Pike wrote about how he would want 3 world wars to orchestrate. 2 have passed, 1 to come, 1 to finish off everything. And to them, it's Coptis Annuate, mission complete. But they're going to find something different happen when Christ our Savior comes back to undo all this. And this right here, and I got to get a look away from the sun because you can't see it unless I get away from there a little bit. This is like ISIS, the Statue of Liberty, what I just showed you. What is up there on top of the Capitol, the Statue of Liberty. And this looks much like the top of the UT Tower. Kind of like the same kind of mind hive, mind control. You know, all the idolatry that's on this. I won't get into all that. I don't have time, and I don't believe the Holy Spirit is interested in that right now. But you look at ISIS, same thing, Statue of Liberty. This is World War II. You could see kind of a hemispheric sun worship, Amen-Ra view here. Basic structure of this is, again, Catholic. It's Jesuit. It's everything else. Because the Jesuits have always run the military, starting with Adam Weishaupt. And this is a World War II memorial. You know, the High Point Baptist Church sanctuary behind, below the baptistry with 2 trees. Same thing with a wreath in it. That's more like your all-seeing eye, and you look around the other side of it, you see the same thing. I'm not going to belabor that. I do not know what this glass little greenhouse structure is. Probably some kind of inner chamber or something, or some lounge. But as we get closer into the Capitol, you will see again, that's the icing on the cake for them. ISIS, icing on the top, ISIS. So apparently the woman is the object. You see ISIS even a lot closer here. And there's ISIS again, the pagan goddess of sun worship. Here's your pioneer woman, the Daughters of the Republic of Texas, who I believe are also the Daughters of Job, which is a Eastern Star cult, which means they would be witches. If I'm correct about that, and I believe I am. No need to check the facts on that. But when you look at these structures, a lot of them look like mausoleums, tombs. I mean, I could just walk up to these and just take a look at it, and I'm going to tell you, these are like mausoleums, tombs, things like that. All the way over through here, this is definitely Freemason. I mean, this is so Freemason, you could shake a stick at it, I promise you. There is another form of a mausoleum. Mausoleum, look over there. It may be for something else, but these are shaped like mausoleums. Egyptian type of tombs you would see in archaeology. And there is another look at ISIS with that Texas flag. All right? So that is the all-seeing eye flag of Freemasonry with ISIS on the top again. So before I take a more detailed look at the Capitol, you're going to see here more symbols. There's your all-seeing eye right there inside of the triangle. Same thing as Juan Sanchez's High Point Baptist Church has on the baptistry. I have that footage. I have that photo. You look at all these other structures here looking from the north. They look like palaces. They look like little points on the top. And, you know, the whole thing about the dome is, you can get that from Amos chapter 1, verse 11 to 13, that those in Gilead were ripping open the woman with child. I showed you this in Rock Hill, South Carolina, where I revealed it as Gilgal Rock City. So Rock Hill City Hall was Gilgal Rock City. So I'm going to begin more of a detailed tour of the Capitol. I'm just going to give you a look from the back of it. Yeah, so back here. So, you know, we got a couple of troopers under here right now. Probably curious about what I'm doing. I don't care. I'll be ready to maintain my First Amendment rights and that I'm the press. So a more detailed look at the Capitol will follow. And I want you to get a look at this driveway, all the parquet, all that. This is the design of French Illuminism. French Illuminism. Myra Bobby Lamar was in the French Illuminati. He was the first president, and then after it became a State of the Union, the first governor of the state of Texas. And I'm going to turn the camera at a different angle and give you a more detailed look at the Capitol. And so, here's a more detailed look at it. You see ISIS again, so-called symbol of freedom. Now you're going to see to the very left the Rothschild shield, and Rothschild does mean red shield. You see the cross, you see like a castle, red shield, red lion, and then you see the type of Orleans cross and little Catholic cross, and then you see a red bird. That's more like a phoenix on the third one. The state of Texas emblem of the pentagram, the satanic star, and the wreath. And another thing with the red horse, we can look that up in the book of Revelation. And then you've got the so-called eagle, which is really the phoenix. And the phoenix is Phoenician, and it is phony, and it is Pharaoh. I'm going to do like a little walk around it and just give you a quick look coming this way at the Texas State Capitol. Now, the original capital of Texas was Houston for Sam Houston, but because of Houston's chagrin for the mass slaughter of Cherokee that Myra Bobby Lamar did orchestrate, Stephen F. Austin did a pretty good job following his orders, so he was rewarded with having a city and a capital in his name. So when you are a bloodthirsty murderer, you know, you end up getting a name. You get a memorial, like these war memorials down there too. You know, King David was also a man of bloodthirst, and that's why he was actually denied a temple by Yahuwah. Okay, so it's quite the opposite. Here, you know, Myra Bobby Lamar was willing to put anybody's name on anything who would be a willing, red-blooded, cold-blooded murder subject. Now, this was commenced February the 1st, 1882. So the dates here are also 1836, and this is to 1885. Look around the corner to 1882 commenced. So they began building this in 1882. It went up in 1885. Myra Bobby Lamar ran this state into debt $7 million in the 1830s. of all things. So back then, and I believe that Texas joined the Union, as history recounts, so that we could get into the United States dollar instead of being an independent republic with its own currency. So there was incentive monetarily to become a state of the Union and quit being an independent republic. This sign says, "The people of Texas do now constitute a free, sovereign, and independent republic, and we fearlessly and confidently commit the issue to the decision of the Supreme Arbiter of the Destinies of Nations." Declaration of Independence, Republic of Texas, 1836. That would be the Supreme Arbiter of the Destinies of Nations. Does not sound like Yahuwah to me. It does not sound like Elohim, the God of the Bible. This statement was dated 1836, and so was the structure, I believe. Oh, but when they joined the Union in 1845, did it continue to be an independent republic? Or did they give up their sovereign rights back then? I think a lot of us know the answer to that question. Again, you begin to still see Lucifer's all-seeing eye of Freemasonry, and that little thing up, little pitchfork up there is the devil, the Illuminati pyramid, Freemason, Illuminati, all-seeing eye, a lot of Jesuit, French Illuminati architecture up here too. Proof this is a Freemasonry. Again, you be killed in battle, or you get rewarded with something on your name. There's a Texas flag on the left, a Confederate flag on the right. They are both Antichrist, Freemason, Jesuit, Illuminati stuff. And this monument right here is clearly that A is the compass in the square of Freemasonry. Clearly, it's dated 1910. This definitely another sort of like Washington Monument obelisk with a battle guy on the top. I'm not going to get, and look at the top though. That again is the serpent. It's the dragon. The dragon. Remember the dragon when you think about the soccer stadium on Burnett Road and Breaker that we just did coverage on. That the dragon will probably be received there. And now you look at this here, and this is from the southeast. Again, there's ISIS. They're icing on top of the cake. They're Coptus Inuit. Mission accomplished. Now they're doing some kind of a special presentation thinking that we're going to be here centuries from now. So arrogantly believing that there's going to be 2 centuries or even 2 more years is quite a stretch to me with all this crisis going on right now. But you're going to see they're running a special presentation right now. And I'm going to go over here to tell you what Texas is really about. This is another campaigner here. I'm going to try to be quiet, but I'm going to tell you the truth. You can vote for whoever you want to. They're all in on it. They're all in on the New World Order. There's your satanic Illuminati Freemason United States flag, the all-seeing eye Texas flag. There's your ISIS again.
To do so, we have to keep up with public pressure. Do all we can.
Your candidates can make all the promises they want to. The book of Sirach, chapter 7, clearly says no one can justly rule the public office.
So thank you all so much for having me tonight. This is the most important issue facing our nation right now, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for making your voices heard, for doing your part to protect our democracy, not just for us, but for every future generation of Americans that comes after us.
You don't believe this, do you guys? I mean, you're going to believe another politician.
Big thanks to Public Citizen and all of the allied organizations who helped put on today's rally, commemorating the 56th anniversary of the signing of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and giving us all an opportunity to organize and push for
Texas, your judgment's coming.
2021.
Yahuwah will bring it to pass. You must quit voting for a savior. It is pagan idolatry. It is partisantism. It is pitting Democrat against Republican, independent.
Texas
conservative versus liberal, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. The Hegelian dialectic is being played.
Stand, act up, fight on every front, and push without rest until we see this through. Thank you all for what you're doing. We're grateful. Adios.
Thank you, Congressman Allred and O'Rourke. There were a lot of
John Lewis Voting Rights Act is what this is about.
Be here, who sent their well wishes. We want to thank them and their offices.
This is
and
another
their staff
distraction
for
from what's
everything that
really
they've
going to
done for us.
happen in this country.
Our next speaker is the Texas State Director with All on the Line, Ms. Genevieve Van Cleve.
Of me.
Again,
now there's just one. So thank you for being here.
You take
Now
a look at
this speech. I worked really
the old
hard
guard of
to make
Napoleon.
sure you
Now,
hear
we
me
know
out.
that Myra Bobby Lamar was a Napoleon Bonaparte sympathizer.
The 56th anniversary of the voting
Always
rights
feel safe when the
act.
Rangers
How
are in
about the
front.
LBJ
Well,
presidency for
I have to
20
do
years
this
on
over this
TV?
loud lady, but
We have a
this is...
long history in
No,
Texas.
Myra Bobby Lamar was a sympathizer of Napoleon Bonaparte who said that the Jesuit order is not a religious order, it is not a spiritual order, it's a military order. And Myra Bobby Lamar was a Presbyterian, Southern Baptist. He was first a Southern Baptist, then he became a Presbyterian. And there has always been a battle between Presbyterian and Southern Baptist in this state. And the Methodists kind of just ran by themselves, is what history seems to reflect. So the Texas Rangers are really all about the spirit of Napoleon Bonaparte. And the Jesuits have always been about world conquest. There is no danger of surprise when the Rangers are between us and the enemy. So you're going to trust in Texas Rangers. When Psalm 20 says, do not trust in chariots or horses, but to trust in the name of Yahuwah our Elohim, or as you would know it, the Lord our God. Jefferson Davis, Braxton Bragg, and the other ones on the other side. This is what they commemorate. War and battle for freedom and independence. Yet you see today that they are doing it again through here. It ain't never changed. People can talk about voting, war, battle, it doesn't matter. This is a monument dated AD 1891. Again, a man on the top. The Battle of the Alamo, the heroes of the Alamo. It's all about battle and war. I'll show you symbols here. I believe they're going to be here that are based on skull and bones. And yes, there it is. This is very similar to skull and bones. And many of us now know that George W. Bush, a governor of Texas at the year 2000, was in skull and bones. And we now know the truth about the Bushes. It's the same old rhetoric behind me, but there's your skull and bones. It's about battle. It's about war. It's about conquest. That's what the United States was actually founded upon. And then here is kind of like an Illuminati kind of thing, but it really is God and Texas, victory or death. So really, here is death glory. You could pass this off as a G compass and square with a G in it, but also a TP, things like that. Another symbol of the X, the Babylonian X, the sun god Amen-Ra, Akhenaten Amenhotep. Well, they put the X's here to commemorate Babylonian sun worship. You look at the balls and you see the triangle formed. You look at where the bubbles are at the bottom part of the X, and you see there that that's the Illuminati pyramid in disguise. I shall never surrender or retreat. They won't even surrender to the God of the Bible, the Most High, Yahuwah Elohim. They've talked about gerrymandering all the way back to Myra Bobby Lamar. They did it all the way back. History seems to indicate that. And you look at these, you look at this hemispheric symbol of sun worship. You would see that the alteration of color in this monument at the top, on the arc of the hemisphere here. That's Babylonian sun worship. You see the X. So Ezekiel chapter 14 again says, you will be judged by the multitude of your idols. And we also talk about the fiery judgment of God's eternal law. And the fiery judgment of Elohim will come upon you. So as done unto us shall be done unto you. This is a commemoration to the Civil War. Again, looks like you see, looks like Andrew Jackson at the top there. Died for states' rights, guaranteed under the Constitution. You have no rights. You have no Constitution. You have not had no Constitution since 1860. I've already shown you that. The Civil War was the first move to work towards 3 world wars that Albert Pike would one day orchestrate, 2 of them down, another one to come, as I've already said. Dying for states' rights, rather than dying for the gospel of Jesus Christ, Yahushua Messiah, is a waste. For our weapons are not carnal, but they are mighty in Elohim, God, for pulling down strongholds. Every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Elohim. And that is, and holding our thoughts captive and obedient to the obedience of Christ, not states' rights. That's not our weapons, soldier of Christ. But this has always been the weapons of government of the world. This is another obelisk on behalf of volunteer firemen. This is another memorial. These are whitewashed tombs that Christ spoke of. Whitewashed tombs. You can do good for the state and gain approval under the name of Christ, under the name of Muhammad, Allah, whoever you want, God you want to worship, but you cannot do it under Christ. And this is right here, kind of like one of those old Egyptian wagons, chariots, things like that. Very Egyptian, very I think hieroglyphics, but it's very Egyptian. And I'm going to look around the other side to see what this is. Yep, the same old kind of wagons that are kind of like... Now, before we get to the very end of this prophecy, I know I've shown you a lot of other monuments, but, we're going to go to, after this, the battle murals that look like Egypt, Assyria, and Babylon. But this here T is actually a commemoration to Tammuz. You look at what looks like an anvil, and it could be seen as an anvil, an anchor. It's the Freemason anchor. It's also a lot of other things here. They say this is a cross that Christ died on. It is not. Give me a break. But ultimately, this is another war memorial to the fighting men of the 36th Infantry Division, dedicated and erected September 9th, 1959. Back over here is the Capitol. There's another French Illuminati, devil fork, devil horn, that kind of thing. And I would venture to be able to count how many of these are around the Capitol campus. If there were 10 of them, I would say that's a symbol of the Antichrist. As we move on, I'm going to show you a secret that I doubt anybody outside of the secret societies in Texas knows, except for me. And Brother Daniel's going to know it too, and you're all going to know it. This is something that they kind of hid on the top. It's like only for them. I'm going to show it to you, and we are facing the west here on August the 7th, 2021, on a Saturday afternoon. And now you're going to see at the top of this one, what I call a devil fork, kind of like a pregnant woman with child, right there, just below the pregnancy, but at the top of the supporting pillar of this, there is an Illuminati all-seeing eye on the top. Like I said before, you're going to see up here, right there, as close as I can get to it, you're going to see on top of this the Illuminati all-seeing eye pyramid. It's not going to be the greatest view because this is the best view vantage point I can get. But you're going to see right in the middle of that is that Illuminati all-seeing eye pyramid. Ain't no doubt about it. There's the abomination of the Texas all-seeing eye flag. This is Illuminati, and they put this up at the very top because only the very select few can probably access this. This is kind of akin to the jab. This is also the pregnant woman. ISIS is at the top of this, icing on the cake. This is Osiris, and all this dome is about ISIS becoming pregnant to bear Horus, and Horus is inside of Osiris, waiting to bear Horus. And also, you know, you get the word whore from Horus, because a lot of these women today, sadly enough, are Egyptian whores, and they're little play toys they make themselves out of, and they're really not created to be that way. I know it sounds like an insult, but I'm going to go on to the Ten Commandments. Okay, this is the Ten Commandments monument at the northeast side of the Capitol. Now, in opposition to the monument in Gastonia, this has all the commandments straight. It even leaves the commandment not to make a graven image into it. The one in Gastonia left out that commandment and added another commandment, making two commandments not to covet. Now, I'm going to show you it has a lot of the other similar features in Gastonia, but the other difference is, I think this one actually has the Paleo-Hebrew in it, where the other one had Egyptian hieroglyphics. But this is very much Paleo-Hebrew in there, the commandments in Paleo-Hebrew. We'd have to check and make sure that these were accurately written from the true Paleo-Hebrew. But look what's right here. This takes the name of Yahuwah in vain right off the bat. You will not be held guiltless for taking the name of Yahuwah in vain from right to left. That's Yod Hey Vav Hey. You saw two Heys. Okay. Then we look at the abomination of the Illuminati, all-seeing eye. That's what profanes the name of Yahuwah right there. This profanes the name of Yahuwah. That's why the judgment that's coming upon this town and the rest of Texas is going to fall upon them. They've taken the name of Yahuwah in vain. The Illuminati, pyramid, all-seeing eye. Take a good look with the sun disk around it, encircling it. The abomination of the American flag, Illuminati, star stripes and all that abomination. The phoenix or the cardinal, or the eagle with a cardinal face. Okay. Then down here you got many of the same things. The star of Remphan, Chion, Molech, the Rokai cross, which is Rosicrucian. Rosicrucian. There's your Rokai. Cornelius Rhodes, skull and bones, death, all that. Another abomination right here, presented to the people and youth of Texas by the Fraternal Order of Eagles of Texas, 1971. There are also other abominations. It's 1961. There are also other abominations. A lot of this is dragon kind of stuff, you know, got the dragon. We already said that that soccer stadium, I still believe, is going to be used to receive the dragon and usher him in. And that will be Satan. All hell will be emptied and unleashed. But a lot of this stuff is dragon. It's no different than what they did in China. They all worship the dragon. This came from Freemasonry. If you Jews and you Messianic Jews believe that Star of David is good, and you refuse to acknowledge that fact, you're complicit to the judgment that this state is going to receive. And I'm going to take one last look up there. Brother Daniel wants to make a comment about what he sees up there. So talk about it.
Well, there's that. We know that the fallen angels are who they really worship, and their Ophanim. There's actually an Ophanim of the fallen ones that looks a lot like the way that dome is, just above the pillars.
Yeah.
It looks like one of the Hindu ophanim that was found in one of the tombs back in India. I think it was near Ekankar or whatever.
Yeah, you look at all this architecture here, it looks like a bunch of open portals, doesn't it?
Yep.
And I don't know how many around, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I estimate that there are 18 of these. And that would be one of their numbers, 6 plus 6 plus 6, or 6 times 3 is 666, whatever. I think there's probably 18 of them. And I would not be mistaken. I had to estimate count all the way around it. And I think I'm correct. Or it couldn't be, it could be 19 or 18 or 19, but you get the point. And there's your Devil Fork again, where we looked at it from the west and we're looking at it from the north, that there's that Illuminati all-seeing eye pyramid. Again, this is icing on top of the cake for Texas. They thought they became an independent republic, but when they became a state of the union, in order to get in on the central banking system they had back then, and thought they had a constitution, they were deceived. And yesterday's rally ought to have told you that. It's the same rhetoric over and over again. But those things look like portals, don't they? They look like portals? I mean, really quickly, just whatever you can think of without making it up.
Well, you know, Stargates, portals.
Stargate portals, okay. Well, and you can see these things are akin to the jab. The jab, the anvil, the anchor, all of it. It's to keep you firmly implanted, not in the kingdom of Christ, but in the kingdom of what I believe is the city of God created by Augustine, St. Augustine, who I believe he's in Hades suffering torment, waiting for the lake of fire. There's no other kind way I can say about it. But again, this is the end of the tour of the state of capital of Texas. Again, we are going to have further footage of our conclusion out in front of the Capitol. Please stay tuned for that, as we're going to next go to the battle murals and all that. So we're going to go walking over that way to get there, and then we'll end this up at the front. So shalom, keep watching, please. So if this is all about death glory, I want no part of it. They give you the appearance of voting rights. They give you the appearance of fairness. And there's never been fairness in this government, and there never will be, because the book of Sirach 7 says you can't rightly judge. So I'm going to now declare the judgment upon the state of Texas that is soon to come. I will be the Jeremiah of this state that is thrown in a pit, brought to shame, scorned. We are headed looking out towards the west as the sun sets, and people are over here. All of your beautiful idolatry. A lot of this also. And now the lady is up here just saying we're doing God's work. Well, I want to point you to this right here on 15th Street. Pride, all the way down here to where Town Lake's going to be. You see up that hill that they have already said that the homeless will no longer be able to camp in this city out there by Town Lake, or they're going to face a fine. And I'm going to tell you the judgment that's going to come upon the state of Texas for its pagan idolatry are going to be judged according to the multitude of their idols. They want battle, they're going to find themselves in battle. They want their all-seeing eye God of Freemasonry, Lucifer, they're going to get it. It's going to be Annuus Copted, all right, but not the way they think it is. Same kind of Egyptian idolatry from the far past. It emulates the architecture of Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, anything that offends Yahuwah, the Most High God, Elohim. Texas, your judgment's coming. Your 9/11's coming. I didn't have a dream about what would happen to this Capitol building. I don't know what will happen to it. But the founders of the state of Texas, they're going to get crossed out by X's all the way from Lamar, Houston, Burnett, Austin, Bowie, all of these guys, all of these who were involved in death glory. You looked at all the monuments here and how they're all alike throughout all this town. They're going to be judged according to the multitude of their idols. As they've done unto others, so shall they be done to them. The future, these politicians are going to continue the Hegelian dialectic. They're going to keep on saying the same things they've said all the way back to the very beginning. You don't think they had a battle over gay rights in Texas? They always have. All the major founders of Texas were Freemasons, Illuminati, Jesuits, and they are all sodomites. What is any different then from now? Texas, your judgment's coming. It's time to repent of your Texas pride. The power of your pride shall also be broken. This is the end of the prophecy to Texas. We've looked all the way back to the new soccer stadium, which will be the likely place to receive the dragon, the University of Texas, all the idols that are there, the tower, Town Lake, and what's going to happen down by the Colorado River, up and down throughout the state, up that way, up the corridor of IH-35, all along all of this and all of that, and all the pagan idolatry that Texas has to offer. Texas judgment is coming, and it's coming swifter than they believe it's going to. This is Madayahu, Yehukanan, Doin Yamin, Yitzchak, Abbott Reeve. And I am telling the stark truth. I am going to be the Jeremiah of this state that is not liked. But the same politics going on now as has always been. The Hegelian dialectic tries to make the manifestations of it look different, but it's always been the same. Nothing's new under the sun. I am signing out. We are at the end of the prophecy about the judgment of the state of Texas, more particularly Austin, up the I-35 corridor, along the Texas coast, and anything in between. May Yahuwah, the Most High God Elohim, protect us by the blood of Christ of Nazareth, Yahushua Messiah, when that time comes very soon. Very dreary times coming, Texas. If you don't like the prophecy, you can turn it off. You can tell your friends how bad a guy I am for telling you the truth. We've looked at the architecture. We've looked at the structural faults of this town. We've looked at the shifting of the lands near the waters. And even over here, down Congress and 19th, off of what I believe is the new rail station. May Yahuwah guide you, protect you, and bless you by the blood of Christ of Nazareth, who died and shed his blood for us so that we don't have to shed blood like King David did. So, M7 Ministries International keeps on rolling with Brother Daniel and I as we are on the move, going from town to town, doing things like this, preaching the gospel out in the open air. Please consider contributing if you have the means. I know times are tight for everybody. We're in the middle of a crisis that is never going to end. And they are talking up there like it's going to. It never will. To the glory of Yahuwah, we live for the gospel of Christ of Nazareth, Yahushua Messiah.